I'll also start off, I've been doing this for a while, teaching for a while. It doesn't get any easier though to stand in front of all the parents and talk to them. So, do the best I can. I'll be stuttering and skipping through stuff, so bear with me. So let's start off with my thank yous. I don't think I've done this, maybe I have in the past, but I have to start off with thanking my family, because softball for me is like a year-round thing. Like I literally think about it year-round. During the summer when I'm following the girls around state to state, I'm watching different coaches and what they do, what can I pick up from them. Watching it on TV, what can I pick up from them, talking to college coaches, what can I pick up from them. So it's a constant thing that I'm constantly thinking about. So at home, they have to constantly be aware of the fact that I'm constantly thinking about it, talking about it all the time. And then when softball season starts, it becomes 10 times worse. Like I literally shut everything else off in my life, and that is literally the only thing that I'm doing. I can't keep anything straight as far as Brooke's graduation. I can't keep anything straight for the party. I can't do any of that stuff because I'm nothing but focused on softball. We get done with the game, and I'm literally up to 11 o'clock at night, going through stats, sending stats in, thinking about, okay, what can we do different for the next game? It's just it's constant. So I have to say thank you for dealing with that stuff all the time. Won't be forever, but it's for at least for now. Cole, for example, was fatherless for the last month. So he did play. I was told that he played modified season. I think I got to watch 1.5 games of his modified season, and got a lot of, told me kind of what happened, but I kind of heard it, didn't see anything. So, I'd like to thank boosters. Elena Golden, treasurer, no, she is the media specialist. We have Tammy Finley, who's the treasurer. Our vice president and the fundraising coordinator is Christina. President is Beth Shank. And we had Sue Hevel and Jody Colino, who helped a ton this year. Our softball boosters are amazing. It's one of the, if not, most productive boosters in the district. The opportunities fundraising these athletes have from modified through varsity is unparalleled. The boosters run every fundraiser, as well as help with the May 4th Invitational, the varsity SU versus Lemoyne softball game, the team dinner, the senior night, the varsity team bonding over ice cream, the transportation and food for our regional final game, this banquet, and much more. So thank you very much for everything that you guys do. Our coaching staff, so modified is Aaron and Grace, and then JV is Nate and Kara. It's not easy to fill coaching positions with people who are qualified to actually fill them. A lot of times we're filled with coaches who are just there to be there, and at least we have coaches who understand the game, are willing to take things that I say, okay, well, I need you guys to do this. I need you guys to focus on this. So when the girls come up to varsity, they're not a complete deer in headlights. They have some sort of idea of what to expect, and they do a really good job of that. So thank you guys. So next is our bookkeeper and game changer. So Lori Jones and Christina Mush. So Lori did the scorebook, and Christina does the game changer. Christina does the book sometimes and the game changer. So I don't know if you guys realize what they have to deal with on a game-to-game basis. So they're keeping that, plus I am constantly going, where'd they go last time? What did this person do last time? Faster, 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 I need the information now. And I know where they put the ball, so I can put our fielders in position. I can say, okay, what position in the order are they hitting, so I know what kind of hitter they are. And it reminds me of what I pitched we pitched that girl last time, so we can do something different. If they got a hit, or I can maybe an off-speed pitch, or throw a rise ball. There's so much that goes into keeping a book and keeping it accurately and giving me that information as quickly as I need it. Also, the game changer helps a ton with giving the stats to the papers at the end of that evening. So I'm compiling all those stats constantly, getting them out to the papers so the girls can get their recognition if they deserve it. So thank you very much for that. Okay, Sean. We got the varsity assistant, Sean Prevo. this coaching is not easy to do, and the help that Sean gives in, I could not be there, and he could run the team. His expertise, knowledge, and years of experience coaching, being around coaches is just unparalleled. The other coaches in the section would love to have Sean as an assistant coach. Like he can take care of the defense while I'm working on the offense. We can look at each other. He'll say one word, I'll be like, yep. He goes and does it, or vice versa. And so that kind of work is just, and the amount of hours he takes off of work, or gets out of work and rushes into Camden to get to a practice. That's, by the way, why we have our practices when we do, so Sean can get there and be there for the majority of the practices. So thank you very much for all that. I need to thank Josh Mesfarrow and Wanda Price for the time and effort that it takes to coordinate schedules, equipment purchases, busing, weather cancellations, end of the season awards. Wanda did a ton of this stuff. She even drove all the way to Utica to get stuff in time for our banquet. So thank you to those guys. And then to the parents for all those rides to the odd practice times. I know we don't have a ton of girls who are needing rides, but thank you. Also, I'm sorry and thank you for picking them up after practice. The half an hour later than I said practice was going to get done. So I understand when I'm done on time and then you're still at home. I get that, okay? No big deal if that happens. I'm still mowing lawn. You're done? You're going to be done an hour, or half an hour from now. No, Dad, I am waiting for you to pick me up now. So, yep, that's perfectly fine. I completely get it. And then also I need to thank you guys for the support at home after a tough game or a tough practice, because at this level, and with my coaching style, there are some tough practices and there are some tough games. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. There are practices, there are times in practice where girls are like, you see a tear come down underneath their sunglasses. I'm like, yep, but you're going to get it. You're going to do it again and again and again and again and again, and you're going to get it. And the difference between the beginning of the year and to midway or all the way through the year is like night and day. There's some of these girls. So they understand it, and they've seen the girls that are older than them go through it. So thank you for that support at home. Okay, so this year's team. So to be honest with you guys, I was a bit unsure of what this year's was going to look like. Basically, before the season started, I was like, I'm happy with 5 losses. We get 5 losses, and I'd be like, boom, here we go. We're set for sectionals. Because of how tough our schedule was. When I made our schedule, I wanted to make our schedule so we had real tough games during the season. I wanted the girls crying after getting crushed by a CNS. I wanted them to be in a close game, being down 5 runs in the 6th inning from a Chittenden angle. That's what I wanted, because when you get to sectionals, and all of a sudden you're in a tough game, and you've never been in a tough game before, it's like, oh, what do I do? So being in that in the regular season, I think, is that experience you need to be able to compete at the higher level. So the non-league schedule that I made for these ladies to compete against them, kind of give you the idea of where we were. Now, I did have one parent who, after the schedule was kind of put out on Schedule Galaxy, said, Jed, what the hell are you doing? This non-league schedule is ridiculous. I'm like, yeah, I know. I know. I want to see how they react. So this was the schedule for the non-league games. So we played against Baldwinsville. Last year, they were the Class AA Section 3 champ and ended 14th in the state in AA. We also scheduled JD. Last year, they were the Class A Section 3 champ and ended 18th in the state. We also scheduled Chittenden. They were last year's Class B Section 3 champ and ended up 17th in the state. We scheduled Saratoga Springs, Class AA. They ended up 30th in the state last year. We scheduled Burnt Hills, Ballston Lake. They were a AA team last year and ended up 27th in the state. And we also scheduled CNS, which is a AA team from last year. Those were our non-league games. So no Class A teams, no Class B teams, no Class C teams. It was all teams who smoked other teams last year. So that's what we had looking forward to. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm like, I don't know, 5 losses? Be good. Okay, so we had a young and inexperienced but eager new additions to the team. we ended up having 3 eighth graders make the varsity team. I told them at the beginning of the year, you're not ready for this. Be happy, I'm glad you're happy about it, but you have a lot of stuff coming at you. We also had another 9th grader that was also made the team, who had not on the team last year. And so I said, listen, there's gonna be a lot of ups and downs. There's gonna be way more downs than there are gonna be ups at the beginning of this season. I'm gonna push beyond where you think you can go and how good you can be, and you're gonna get there though. But I also made them realize, listen, you're gonna fail, you're gonna make mistakes. Well, I can't pull you out because we only got 10 girls. So you're gonna keep playing. So it doesn't matter if you make a mistake or not, you're gonna go back in that game or play the next game. So expectations are high. We always have high expectations, but my philosophy is, if I expect up here, I'm gonna get here. If I expect here, I'm gonna get here. So I always expect high, and they achieve. More often than not, they achieve beyond where they even thought they could be. So we started the season with 3 seniors, 2 juniors, 2 freshmen, and 3 eighth graders. So 5 underclassmen and 5 junior seniors. The juniors and seniors had 3 years of varsity experience, so they were a big help to help these younger kids kind of realize, here, this is what is expected of you. This is how we're going to hold ourselves. This is what we're going to do. So it wasn't such a shocker when I was saying, hey, I didn't have to tell them to do a lot of things because the older girls were, this is how we do stuff. So, some highlights. Well, our team captains were Brooke Mush and Avery Prebo. Are 2 of our seniors that had played in their freshman, sophomore, and junior years. We were marked on all schedules because we had beat Beeville last year 1-0. We beat CNS the last 2 years. We've beaten everybody from the Tri-Valley League last year, so everybody's ready. We're going to get the best from everybody. No one's going to take us lightly because they know, well, they want to beat us, and they wanted revenge. So the beginning of the year was tough with all the rain. We ended up, we just happened to have our game scheduled on every day that it rained, just every day that it rained. Where we had 2 games and other teams had 6 games in. It was very odd. We were kind of doing a lot of practicing and indoors and outdoors and indoors and practicing. Every game got canceled, so it was tough at the beginning. So 7 games into our season, I thought the season was over. I'm like, oh man, we're in for it now. And Camden broke her thumb walking a ball in Oneida. So we had to move Ari, who was our 9th grade first baseman, we made into a first baseman, to catch, which is not easy, especially for me. You catch her for me, Caitlin knows, is not an easy task. We had to move Brooke, our center fielder, into first base. We moved our left fielder into center field. I was like, okay, I guess this is gonna have to do. Cameron was eager to get back. You could see her sitting on that bucket with her thumb in her brace, just going, oh my God, I want to get out there, I want to play. So she was able to courtesy run for us for 4 games. Once she got that weekend of healing, we put her into courtesy run. And I can remember that first day of her courtesy running, and she was on second, I think it was. And I was watching the play at the plate, so I knew she was coming to third, but didn't think anything about the plate, and she never broke stride. Well, so I saw a flash go in front of me, and Cameron scores, and the ball was like 5 feet from home plate. I'm like, ooh, it's nice to have Karen back. So she was able to come back when we entered sectionals. So 7th game of the season, we played 18 regular season games, and then Cameron comes back, and we started sectionals. She was able to DP, so she just hit against Oneida. Then she'd be able to play first base for the rest of the postseason. Cameron had 11 hits in our 5 postseason games. She led us in hitting in our 5 postseason games. She was on fire. She was that shot we needed at that point of the season. We kind of tailed off a little bit towards the end there in the regular season. So having her come back, stick her in that order, and just crush balls, that helped us a ton. Okay, our pitchers. I have to say our pitchers because it's not just you, Layla. So our pitchers, they pitched 2 3-hitters, 4 2-hitters, 4 1-hitters, and Layla pitched 2 no-hitters. Layla struck out 10 or more opposing hitters 9 times, including in the section final against New Hartford. 9 of our 23 games were shortened by run rule wins. We out-hit our opponents in 22 of our 23 games. CNS was the only one that out-hit us. We averaged over 12 hits a game. We scored 4 or more runs in a single inning 30 times. We scored double digits 15 times. We scored 288 runs for an average of 12.5 runs a game. And our opponents scored a total of 43 runs for an average of 1.8 runs a game. We lost 3 games by a total of 5 runs. CNS lost by 1 in 9 innings. They're a AAA team, school. Ichabod Crane in the regional final, they lost by 2 runs. They're the defending state champs, and they were a state finalist this year. And we lost to Burnt Hills Ballston Lake by 2 runs. They were the Class AA state champs this year. So our 3 losses were, not too bad. We had a single girl have 3 or more RBIs in a game 30 times. We had 2 girls hit in the 300s for batting average, 2 girls hit in the 400s for batting average, 1 girl hit in the 500s for batting average, and 1 girl hit in the 700s for batting average. We hit 33 doubles, 19 triples, and 17 home runs. That's 27% of our hits were extra base hits. We had 152 stolen bases. So I have a little story about our stolen bases. So at the end of season Tri-Valley League coaches meeting, we were able to nominate athletes for the All-Star by positions this year. So it went, outfield had a certain number, infield, middle infield had a certain number, corners had a certain number of catchers. The Notre Dame coach, he put up his catcher for first team All-Star. And he, we put our players up, we give stats for them. And he said her caught stealing percentage was 700. So she threw out, 700% of her, the girls that stole against her. He turns to me and he goes, she would have been like 900 if we had to play Camden twice. We stole, we ran bases, we run all over teams. Team batting average of 400, opposing batting average of 165. There are 86 Section 3 teams. That's in all classes. AAA, AA, A, B, C, D. There are 86 total. We had the most wins of any Section 3 team. No other Section 3 team had 20 wins. There were a few that had 19, not as many as us. Defensive highlights, we turned 5 double plays. Now, double play at the varsity level is not easy to accomplish. The bases aren't very far apart, and those girls move down the line. So we had 1 ground ball to Amber, who threw it to Kendall at second, and then played on to first. We had 1 ground ball to Layla, who threw it to Amber, and then played on to first. 1 pop fly that Kendall caught and threw the girl out at first. 1 line drive that Kendall caught, threw the girl out at third. 1 line drive that Kendall caught, threw the girl out at first. So our 2 catchers, Ari and Cameron, both threw 4 runners out stealing, and they both picked a runner off at first base. And we had 2 diving plays. The way I look at it is there are not many girls out there who are willing to dive, okay? We had 2 diving plays this year. Part of the reason we only had 2 diving plays is because we had Layla pitching, so there wasn't many balls hit in play, especially in the outfield, so we couldn't get many diving plays out there. So we had 2 diving plays. Cameron dove at first base on a foul ball in the section final and caught that line drive. And then while Brooke was playing first base against Burnt Hills Ballston Lake, a girl bunted with a girl coming home, and she fielded that bunt and dove and tagged the girl just before she touched home plate. Those were our 2 diving plays. Our big wins this year, we had quite a few big wins. So our big wins against Baldwinsville. AAA team comes into Camden, yeah, we're gonna beat this A team. Have revenge, yeah. We beat them 10-1. They were ranked 19th in the state when we beat them. Saratoga Springs. So Saratoga Springs comes in on May 4th. I'm friends with the coach. And we beat them 13-5. They were unranked at that point. 13-5, I didn't think much of it. Well, at the end of the season, they won Class AAA in Section 2. They won the section. Then they beat Liverpool. So they were a state finalist, and they ended up ranked 5th in the state in AAA. Whitesboro. Whitesboro come to Camden, first time they've seen our turf, and we smoked those guys 7-0. They were ranked 24th in Class AA at the time. They ended the season, they won Section 3 AA, and they were ranked 12th at the end of the season in AA in the state. Utica Notre Dame, which we all hate Utica Notre Dame. Okay? I like the coach, I like the girls, hate playing them all together. We beat them 6-1 and 3-1. They were a section semifinalist. They lost in the section final. So they were runner-up, and they ended up the season ranked 7th in the state in Class B. JD, who did not want to make up our game, by the way. I tried to make up that game in the regular season. I gave him multiple choices of dates to pick from. He said, nah, we'll hold on. Okay. Beat him 4-3 in the semifinal. They were ranked 18th in Class A, and the end of the season ranked 21st in Class A. And then New Hartford, we beat them 10-2 and 9-3, including that in the section final. They were ranked 14th in the state in Class A. They were the section runner-up, and they ended up 18th in the state in Class A. So to give you perspective, these last couple of years, we've had unprecedented success. It's not normal, okay? So those of you who will look up and say, oh, 20 wins, we should do that every year. Nope, it's not a thing that happens all the time. Like I said, there's 86 Section 3 teams. We're the only team that had 20 wins this year. We ended the season first in Tri-Valley League with a 14-0 record. That's 2 years undefeated in Tri-Valley League. And in 4 years in the TBL, our TBL record in 4 years is 53-3. We won Class A Section 3. We were Class A New York State Public High School regional finalist. We got as high as ranked 5th in the state in A, and we ended the season ranked 6th in the state. Max Prep, which is another rankings basically. Our highest ranking in Class A was first. We got as high as first in Section 3 in all classes, and we got highest first in New York State in all classes. We ended the season ranked 3rd in Class A in the state. They still ranked us first in all classes in Section 3 at the end of the season. We were the best team. And then 16th in New York State in all classes in the entire state. Let's see here. I don't know what that means. Oh, I do know. Okay. Okay, so the final Section 3 stats were published in Syracuse.com. I know not everybody looks at Syracuse.com. You get paid for it, so you pay for it. So how do our athletes stack up to the over 1,000 Section 3 softball players? So if you take 86 teams, multiply it by roughly 12, you get a little over 1,000. So I can give you numbers, but the numbers don't mean anything unless you can compare them to the other kids that are out there. So I've got, this is a lot, but we're not on every single page. So in hits, we have the top hit person. Brooke had the most hits in Section 3. Layla Colino had the 12th most hits. She was tied for 12. Ari was tied for 23rd. This is triple A, A, B, C, D, everybody in Section 3. Amber was tied for 32nd, along with Kendall, 27 hits. So runs scored. Brooke was first overall. Ari was 15th. Sophia Barker was tied for 15th as well. Cameron and Avery were tied for 24th. Amber tied for 48th, and Kendall tied for 48th. RBIs, Brooke was first overall. Layla was 4th. Kendall was tied for 9th. Amber tied for 19th. Avery tied for 31st. For singles, in all of Section 3 again, all classes, Brooke was tied for 1st with 34. Ari was tied for 4th with 30. Layla tied for 24th with 22, and Amber tied for 35th. Doubles, Kendall was tied for 11th with 9. Amber tied for 40th with 6. Triples, Layla was tied for 4th. Cameron tied for 4th also. Brooke tied for 13th. Avery tied for 26th. Home runs. Brooke was first. Abby Hell was tied for 20th. Layla was tied for 20th. Kendall was tied for 20th. Walks. Let's see, Brooke was 6th. Sophia was tied for 11th. Amber was tied for 15th. Kendall was tied for 31st. Avery was tied for 49th. Hit by pitches, which is, I don't know why you want that stat. Hit by pitches, Abby Hell was tied for 4th. Adriana was tied for 22nd. And Brooke was tied for 22nd. Stolen bases, Brooke was 1st overall. Sophia Barker was tied for 7th. Ari Colino was tied for 16th. This is crazy when I saw this one. Kendall was tied for 36th. Cameron was tied for 44th. And the only reason Cameron's down low on these stats is because she had most of her games she didn't play. Innings pitched, Layla was 1st in all of Section 3. Strikeouts, Layla was 4th in all of Section 3. So it kind of gives you an idea of where our stats stack up to everyone else in Section 3. Okay, so now it's the first time I'm calling you guys up. So, yeah, because they're going to be coming up later. So, when you come up, you are going to get your certificate of participation in varsity. You're going to get your Section 3 champion certificate. You're going to get your New York State Public High School regional or state tournament participation, and you're going to get your stat packet, and you're going to get your Section 3 champ patch, your pins, whatever pins you need, the picture of the team that has the TBL champs, Section 3 champs, New York State regional finalists on it as well, and your Section 3 champ t-shirt and your program t-shirt.
That's just the start of it. That's the start of it. Yeah, rub gonna walk away like that.
Okay, so thank you, Sister. So we have in their first, after their first year of varsity, 8th grader Adriana Omenson.
You can go back up to the table.
Yes.
Yeah. Only makeup,
Yeah. In their first year of varsity, 8th grader Sophia Barker. There we go. In their first year of varsity, 8th grader Abigail Hubble. I wouldn't do that. In their first year of varsity, 9th grader Kelsey Brown. Their first year on varsity, freshman Ariana Colino. In her second year on varsity, freshman Amber Shanks. In her first year on varsity, sophomore Abigail Cranwell. In her 4th year on varsity, junior Kendall Mush. In her 4th year on varsity, junior Cameron Shank. Her 3rd year on varsity, senior Layla Kalino. In her 4th year on varsity and captain, senior Avery Preble. Her 4th year on varsity and captain, senior Brooke Mush.
Really awkward handshake.
So these girls started on varsity my 1st year on varsity. So to give you kind of perspective, their varsity careers ended with 75 wins and 11 losses in 4 years. 75 wins and 11 losses. Okay, so our scholar athletes, we have 10 scholar athletes. I'm going to call them down 2 at a time. Sophia Barker, Adriana Omenson. Kelsey Barak and Abby Howell. Abby, you sure? Amber Shake and Ari Kalino. Layla Kalino and Kendall Mush. And Brooke Mush and Avery Preble. Okay, so this year we decided to give out a Rookie of the Year award and a Rookie of the Year award. And this season, we're gonna have 2 athletes that have earned Rookie of the Year. So I'm gonna say who it is, so everybody knows what I'm talking about, and then talk about them, and then they come up and get their award. So our first recipient of Rookie of the Year is Abby Hell. So I told Abby at the beginning of the season that this transition to varsity is going to be difficult. I had her pegged for third base, which is not an easy position to play for us. With all of our bunt coverages, first and third place, playing way up, that's why you've heard me say, Abby, 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 more, more, more. She's like, are you kidding me? I'm like, yes, more, more, more. They're covering on slow rollers that are hit to the shortstop. Those things are not easy to do. I don't think it took long for her to understand what I was talking about when I said it was going to be a hard transition. She worked hard, she stuck with it, she battled through some tough practices. She was our everyday third baseman, and other teams wouldn't have known it, that she was a rookie or an 8th grader. At one point in the season, she was hitting over 400. She ended the season hitting nearly 300 with 21 hits, including 2 as an 8th grader over the fence home runs. Abby played a great third base throughout the season, and she also made the play that ended the section final by fielding a bunt from a lefty slapper and throwing her out at first base. So congratulations, Abby Heller. Our other recipient of Rookie of the Year is going to be Ari Colino. So we needed Ari to change positions this year. With Cameron moving to catcher, we opened up first base. So Ari ended up being our first baseman. She worked hard. She got lots and lots of balls thrown at her at first base. This is so you guys don't know, we have literally take buckets and each girl takes 4 or 5 balls, spreads out throughout the infield, and she literally has the whole team throwing balls at it. Okay, go all the way through, get all the different positions, high, low, in the dirt, everything. She has to be, we make sure the girls are prepared for what's going to happen in a game. She did great, and then Cameron got injured. That meant she had to go behind the plate, where she had experience, but not on varsity. She did an excellent job behind the plate, picking off runners, throwing girls out. At the end of the season, TBL coaches meeting, I had a coach comment on my catching. And I'm like, yeah, she's a 9th grader. She's like, what? She's a 9th grader? I'm like, yep, she's a 9th grader. She goes, man, that girl is good. Also at the beginning of the year, I told Ari that she was going to be a slapper. That's what you're gonna do. You're just gonna slap. And she did not like that. At least the look on her face, I thought she didn't like it. Okay? Which I'll talk about the look on her face later. So in the indoor practices, we moved along. She was getting a little better, but the frustration level did not seem to be getting any better from her. We kept telling her when she would top a ball and it would land about 5 feet in front of home plate, she's like, oh, we're like, great job, that's awesome slap. No one's gonna throw you out. She kept going, these guys are nuts. I could just tell the look that she was thinking, right? Then game started, and she struggled at first. Now, those first few games, we started mixing in some bunts. About 4 or 5 games in, then she got on base over and over and over again. So she ended the season with the 3rd highest batting average on the team, in 446. The 3rd highest hit total with 29. The 3rd highest on base percentage at 544. And she was also tied for scoring the 2nd most runs at 33. So throughout the season, the ongoing joke with Ari was teeth. She yelled teeth. Because things were funny, you could kind of hear her laughing through her pursed lips. Her mouth's laughing around. I'm like, Ari, it's okay. You can smile. You can laugh. You can show me some teeth. So hopefully, when she comes up here, she'll show us some teeth. So congratulations, Ari Colleen. Okay, so we have a most improved player. This year is going to go to 2 athletes. So this year's award for most improved player is going to basically see how these athletes improved from last year through the end of the season this year. Our first recipient is going to be Amber Shank. So although Amber is a returning player, she is only a freshman. She's in second year, only a freshman still. And she's our starting shortstop last year and this year. To give perspective, teams don't have freshmen starting shortstops or eighth grade starting shortstops. And most will have a sophomore starting shortstop, but most of them are juniors and seniors at that position. She moved up in the lineup from 8th last year to 6th this year, which is a prime spot for us to drive in runs. She had 8 multi-hit games, including 3 in the sectionals and states. Amber increased in almost every statistical category. She blasted 8 more hits for 27, 9 more RBIs, 1 more home run, 10 more walks than last year. She increased her batting average by 103 points to 391. She increased her on-base percentage by 128 points to 528, and her slugging percentage by 113 points to 522. Congratulations, Amber Shank.